Miami Heat, Miami Heat. It feel like Miami.
Welcome to the Miami Heat Beat Trade Deadline Special. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, my left, we have the reality check master, Tiffany Meeks.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How we feeling?
Thank you.
Happy Sunday.
Thank you.
On the right, we have the great Siobhan. Siobhan, how we doing?
We are fantastic. It is you horses Sunday, but it is my Saturday, so it's been a great one.
I
know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
exactly.
You're correct. Tiff's in
Thanks.
the middle. No, Nikias, thank you as a friend helping
you.
us. Thank you. You are heard. You are seen.
Nikias said, "Not in this month."
Nikias, for those on the
He
pod,
said not to my queens.
I was in the middle of the screen on the stream, and Nikias said, "G in the middle of the screen in this month." This man's spitting.
And the following month is Women's Month, so just know.
You will not be in the middle again.
Heat Beat's gonna belong to you guys for the next 2 months. It's all. Yeah. I mean, Tiff's a credentialed media member.
Work. Yes.
I'm not saying I was elbows deep, but I was elbows deep.
You're with the people.
Those Haywood pictures are
there.
beautiful. The Haywood pictures are gorgeous.
Oh, okay. Let me just say this before we start.
Please.
TV don't do him justice. He's a handsome man. I'm a tell it. I know y'all don't want to hear me talking about Hamish, but he's an attractive man. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, Max with this. I thought we were.
Hold up. I'm not. I didn't put him over Max. I'm just giving him his just due. I'm just giving him it's Black History Month, so I got to give him his just due.
Come on, G.
But when I'm next to Max, he black enough. So.
Jesus. They're gonna revoke your credential. Keep this woman away from Struce. Yeah.
No.
It was a little.
See? Thank you, Nikias. Keep these people together. And I said these people. Yep, call me too.
Okay, but before we get on to the good stuff, I do want to share one funny anecdote from Tiff's night at MSG covering the Heat Knick game. I just get word. Tiff's like, well, the Spo came out, brief presser, and then said players ain't come. Somebody told them the players ain't coming out. And Tiff goes, everyone
Screaming.
and Tiff's like, I don't know what to do. And I go, well, what's Ira doing? Because like Ira is, as Tiff learned, Ira's there to gather news. And if Ira left, Tiff's like, he's gone. He and Bontemps left. And I go, wherever
it's
Ira
over.
goes, you follow. If that man left, there's no news left to be had. When Ira
We're done here, folks.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was funny. Shout out to Ira. All right, guys. So, obviously, topic of the day, Kyrie Irving is a Dallas Mavs for Dorian Finney-Smith, 2 second-round picks, I believe a 2029 first-round pick, and Spencer Dinwiddie. Now, Heat fans and Laker fans having a meltdown on the timeline. I'm seeing Bam photoshopped in Celtic jerseys because he's going to be mad and leave. I just see people saying we might as well take Pro MB. People, the
That's
timeline,
the utmost. That's the utmost.
The timeline's mad. People are saying Pat has not woken up since the 2010 offseason.
Pat in the cryo chamber. Pat wake me up in 50 years.
He's next to Walt Disney, cryogly frozen. And everybody's mad. And I just want to start by saying, well, we're going to make fun of Rob Pelinka in a second. We're going to get into what the Heat can do this deadline. But I would like to say, a deal that consists of a good rotation player in Dorian Finney-Smith, a salary piece like Spencer Dinwiddie, who's playing better than your salary piece, Kyle Lowry, as much as it pains me to say, a first-round pick when Luka may be gone from Dallas, because God knows what could happen in 2029, and 2 seconds, I think that's better than pretty much anything Miami could have put out. And I've heard some people talk about how Miami picks aren't as like valued as some other teams' picks because they always try to win. They're very rarely. I think Michael Beasley, Dwayne Wade, and Justice Winslow are like the 3 highest picks in franchise history or something, or like, in the last since in the Riley tenure, like they don't pick very high very often because they're usually like at worst like a little bit below 500. So maybe because they shit out rotation players. They just do it, bro. They find them. So it kind of is what that is. So as we welcome in Alphonse Sidney,
he win.
There's
he win.
No win around these parts. Alf, we were just talking about the Dallas deal and how, it was a lot better than anything Miami could have put out with a good rotation player in Finney Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, who's playing way better than Kyle Lowry, a first-round pick that's probably going to be more valuable than any hit pick because he'd always try to be good. And it's like, you can't – I don't know how mad you can get at that. Like, from a basketball perspective.
No, I mean, listen, the Heat fans will get mad at anything, right? Like
the darkest day in franchise history.
Darkest days in Heat history. Like they got themselves so riled up and fixated on Kyrie Irving when there was no tea leaf reading. There was no indication whatsoever.
It was just Brian Windhorst.
Kyrie Irving.
Brian Windhorst suggested they might be interested.
Who did?
Brian Windhorst said he just said like watch out for
we're not listening to Winnie. Yeah, right.
Why would we say that? No, but see, but that's the thing. Of course, the Heat might be interested. I mean, you've seen their point guard play. You've seen their offense. They could use a scoring point guard. But here's the problem, right? The Heat could have put a better package together. But why do you put a better package together if you don't even know you want to sign Kyrie Irving to an extension this summer? Like, you don't know, like, you don't even know if you really want to really touch this dude long term. Like, who knows what happens this year with Dallas, right? Would it be a surprise to anyone if Kyrie Irving blew up that locker room? Would it be a surprise to anyone if Kyrie Irving, for some strange reason, decided he doesn't want to play for a 2-week period? Like, he's very volatile.
What if he hates Mark Cuban?
that
was the first thing. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Like, what if Mark Cuban does some shit and Kyrie Irving's like, I don't fucking like you. I don't want to work for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
That doesn't
those
even
go together really well.
Exactly.
And you've mortgaged a little bit of your future. I don't like Spencer Dinwiddie. Like, okay, he's a nice player. DFS, like that's a good player, and a first round pick, a second round pick. Like now, I mean, if you get to the summer and you can't re-sign Kyrie Irving, like it looks like a really bad trade for Dallas. Like it just does. So I think that's where, as a Heat fan and as a Heat front office, do you want to invest in something like such a volatile property as Kyrie? Because as good as Kyrie is, that is a terrible trade package for Kyrie Irving. Terrible.
The Lakers wouldn't offer
terrible
picks.
For who?
For Kyrie
level of Dallas or for Brooklyn?
For Brooklyn. Like for Kyrie's skill level, you should get much better than one first-round draft pick, Spencer Dinwiddie and DFS.
Covington went for like multiple first-round picks.
Now, see, I think Covington was bloated. And so we're back into like it stinks.
Like
feeling
Terrence
like
Ross.
they're trying to level out.
Terrence Ross got traded for like one first-round pick. Yeah, like stars get.
Siobhan, as good as Kyrie is.
Right, it's all of that other stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
the Dinwiddie thing's not an asset. The Dinwiddie, that's a negative contract. That was a salary filler, and it's like, okay, like Dorian Finney-Smith is a nice player. Like he's a nice player, and Dinwiddie on that deal is like, you don't love it, but whatever. He's gonna be productive. I think it also depends on what you want. If you're Brooklyn, right? Like we don't know what Durant's gonna do, assuming that they had conversations with KD. This feels to me like okay, let's try to be kind of good. You know what I mean, Bon?
I think so. Like, and because of it, I feel like that's why they stay. Like, Kevin is still showing that he's been productive. People are still coming to play with him. Like, he's gonna have his relationships with people that he and Kyrie are gonna be cool, whatever. Like, away from them playing on the same team. Like, I think he stays, and these do feel like moves that that he would sign off on. Like Dorian is a good player. Dorian is good. Dorian will be good for them. Dorian would have been good for us. And Spencer goes back to where he's been comfortable. He can still do some of the things that they need him to do. Yeah, you lose like Kai's 2029 unprotected is a solid asset. Thanks for that, Ryan Shaprivo. But like, I don't know. I think it is at the very least, let's try to still be good right now. But I genuinely think that they'll be good. You lose like Kyrie's maybe production and kind of flashiness, but Cam Thompson is scoring for you. The combination of him and Spencer
What
should
the
give you
hell
some
was
offense.
that?
They should no, Cam's good. Like
No, I
shout
know
out
he had
to
44 yesterday. Or the day.
yeah, he's exploded for like he's given them big games before. Like Spencer will be back there, be comfortable. I think Claxton and KD are good for a guy like Dorian, kind of a tweener type of dude. Like I think that they have decent bones, and they weren't. I don't think that they were uber far off when they were whole. Yeah, it took like them two. They were playing, you know, how they play, but like, and I also think final point here. I also think Spencer not being kind of like as flashy and as kind of, I guess diva-ish. He doesn't warrant the like give him 4 or 5 seconds to see if he can cook. Like Spencer Dinwiddie is a person, right? If he don't have like his first 1 or 2 moves, he can still play within like the flow of whatever you want to try to scheme up offensively. So I think Brooklyn is okay. I think I want to see what they can do defensively, but I don't know. Like I guess you could say that's not good for someone of Kyrie's skill level, but taking into everything else into account, I guess it kind of levels out.
That's
Yeah, like I'm saying, I think it's a good trade for Brooklyn, but it just
and I also think he does resign in Dallas. He has family in Dallas.
But the thing is, can you call it with
You
with
can't.
Kyrie? You really can't. Like he is
That's
volatile.
his kid. Like that's his daughter's in Dallas. So I don't know.
But
That don't mean nothing.
He didn't sign in Dallas before.
Right. He can take her wherever. Like they can be fine wherever. So like I don't know.
But he's volatile. So that's my whole thing with Kyrie. Like the Heat could have put together a package better than Dallas, but the fact that Dallas had the best package tells you something what teams feel about Kyrie, how much they're willing to risk on a guy like him and his personality. Does it tell you
what they feel about Kyrie or what they feel about your package and what you think that maybe you could offer?
But I mean, you would think if for a guy like Kyrie, you could if someone else could have thrown two first round draft picks.
I thought
right?
for sure two.
I thought he was going to get at least 2. Right?
Yeah, I thought when I saw the reports of like 1 pick, I was like, that can't be right. I mean, that guy's.
like
good.
if the Lakers,
it's a first and a second, right?
The seconds, who gives a shit? It's like it's really
sure.
But if the Lakers wanted Kyrie, they would have just said 2 first round draft picks because them Laker draft picks is going to be good as fuck.
Unless Durant said, and Tiff, I want to hear what you have to say.
I was waiting because I wanted to, Durant said we don't want that.
No, or Westbrook, because Westbrook is
that. I'm talking about the Lakers. He said no. He said no. Like, let's be like the beat that offer with picks. Durant probably said. I think they sneakily did try to sneak in at least 2 first rounds.
It's just weird to me, Tiff, that like the report, because like if you're Pelinka, you wanted to appear that like, okay, we tried, to show LeBron and your fans. So the fact that got leaked is crazy.
Well, everything gets leaked anyway, and there's no way to try to frame it to say we did all we could. Like, we already know all they could give. We know what they can offer for players. We know what they can offer. Said since last year, those picks are valuable to them. Listen, they the broke boys of the NBA. They already know. Once LeBron drive off to go get his first fitted wig, because we already know what's gonna happen when he leave the league. He about to come out looking like
shit gonna be sharp.
Exactly. Edge is gonna be tapered. It's gonna be fly. But as soon as he drive off, ain't nobody calling the Lakers saying I'm coming. Nobody's going there. They are not
established.
They are not. Listen, they are not the Beyoncés of the NBA. Nobody's going there. So what's gonna happen to them? They're gonna be in full rebuild mode. They need all
find some young talent.
They need all the picks they could get. Just one thing I'll say about like Spencer and Dorian going to Brooklyn. It's cute. Like they not winning no championship with this mix, but it's cute. So I don't think they'll win. They're not winning with this mix.
No, I think unequivocally, and I know
they're not winning with this mix.
Disagree with me. Brooklyn got worse. They are. No
I don't know if they got. You know why I don't know if they got worse? Because I'm gonna tell you this part too that we keep touching on. We don't know if Kyrie was going to finish the season.
Here's my
So
thing.
at least we know they got two people who going to play.
With a healthy Kevin Durant and a healthy Kyrie Irving,
But you
Brooklyn
don't know.
I know, but they are a scary, scary team.
Well, yeah.
So there was a gamble there. Right now, you are not going to tell me, right? On Joe Biden's StreamYard, that like you are
not in this month. You ain't say Joe Biden.
Spencer,
What is wrong?
I'm sorry.
Spencer Durant.
Kevin Durant, Spencer Dinwiddie, DFS, Bruce Brown. Do they even have Nick Claxton? Like, you're not going to tell me that you think that team's a title contender. I don't.
No, they're not. But
they're not getting past Boston.
Well, but here's the thing about this season. Why it's real cute. There is no clear-cut favorite. They're really. I'm not pegging them as the clear. I have seen Jason Tatum in the last 2 minutes of a fourth quarter. So there is no clear cut.
Jason Tatum against a Brooklyn Nets team, and they dusted their ass.
Yeah,
well, yeah, but I'm just saying, history tells us what he gonna. There is no clear cut favorite. So I think it's cute. I like the trade. I like the trade for both parties. I really do. You know why? Because like, how you gonna keep Luka if you don't show him you're trying? Like,
no, I do. I like that for the Mavericks. Like, you gotta show Luka something.
And at the end of the day, everybody ain't gonna be a contender. Some of y'all gotta be out here and concede that y'all is trying to have fun.
Right.
Or we just gotta get through this season.
I mean, why you say y'all?
Y'all, us.
Us.
They,
let's
them,
say
be one of them.
Whatever.
Let's say us. We trying to have.
Trying
to have fun.
Welcome.
If it's me and I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I do not consult Kevin Durant on this trade because Kevin Durant just tried to ask out a few months ago, right? So like, it's not far from the reality that he could ask out again this offseason, and instead of building up for your future and getting as many picks as you possibly can, you decided to bring in guys that could help you win this year when you are not going to win this year. Like, you're going to compete. I would much rather, if I was the Nets, get as many picks as possible. And like the Dorian, that is a good piece to have. But I would
flip him later.
But whoever was giving me the most picks, especially if the Lakers, I would have held the Lakers' ass to the fire for 2 first-round picks.
The reality is they that drunk girl at the party that her friends be like at midnight, girl, let's go on and go home. Let's go ahead and go. One more song. Now it's 3 a.m. You sloppy. You got one shoe. Your mascara is running, and the lights are on. You should have been left the party. That party should have been over with. So when Kyrie was doing his listen, when Kyrie wanted that trade during the summer, then Durant was like, get me up out of here. That was your perfect opportunity to get that fabulous rebuild.
They should have like 5 to 6 first-round picks for those guys. Now they're going to walk away with 2 first-round picks and Dorian Finney-Smith.
And Ben Simmons.
That is... and Ben Simmons. That is bad asset management, as my man Harry would like to say.
So the only way that Miami is able to beat that offer is with Tyler Herro. And shout out to Albert Namad on Twitter, who kind of provided clarification because there's been a lot of talk on the poison pill in Tyler Herro's contract, and a lot was made of there's only one player that's ever been traded with the poison pill stipulation, which was Devin Harris in 2008. It's really difficult, and the long and short of it is, Tyler's getting $5 million this year, but his outgoing money would be, I think, his extension figure, or like even higher than his extension figure. So I believe that's $28 million. So a team would have to be able to absorb that $28 million, be willing to absorb that $28 million, because that sometimes will put you over the tax or whatever. And that outgoing for Miami, it makes it complicated and makes this usually teams only cap space. They were able to because that trade would have been able to happen because Kyrie makes 36. So that the 27 or 28 or whatever Tyler's poison pill number actually would have cut Brooklyn a tax saving. It would have actually given Brooklyn, some relief on luxury tax because they're pretty deep into it. Yes.
Would it have counted? So leaving Miami's debt, would it have counted as let's say the 5 or the 28? Like, would it have been a freeing up of?
No, we don't get money. We take money because Kyrie's deal is so big. So it would have pushed Miami well into the luxury tax. No way to duck it. because they're pretty much at the cusp. Like I don't think they can sign a guy to like a roster spot. I think they're gonna have to do some creative accounting with when they convert Orlando Robinson, which I fully believe that they will. Kind of going into the postseason, unless Year 7's clearly the answer. And even then, I think they might want a real third center and not Dedmon. So that kind of brings up the point of because we're going to transition to power forwards in a second here, but I did want to talk about the Herro aspect of it. It's like, do you and I want to go with Alf and then go around the room. Like, do you put Herro in that deal for Kyrie? Because I think that's what a lot of fans wanted. They're like, well, if you put Herro in that deal, that becomes better than the Dallas deal. And I'll agree with that.
You don't even know necessarily if you want Kyrie. Why are you giving up Tyler Herro?
Of course you don't if you don't know. But like if you knew, would you be comfortable with it?
Yeah, like if Kyrie's gonna sign if Kyrie tells you, but again, I mean Kyrie could tell you he's gonna sign the extension.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Right.
So, but he did that to Boston.
I believe that.
Yes.
No. You do not give up. Listen. Okay, go back to Tiff's analogy, right? The club closes at 4. It's 2 a.m. and you got a good one. She all right,
screaming.
She cute, she all right. She look like she got a job. She will do, right?
She'll do.
That's Tyler Herro. He'll do. He got a job. Be all right. His arms may be short, but he does. He puts in work. You know what I'm saying? He gets the job done. Now you've been talking to the Tyler one for an hour. Now here come 3:30. The lights come on, and there's a bad one, but she messy. She's sloppy. She looked like she missing a shoe. A heel broke. And one of us, her bra strap showing, both the shoulders down.
Oh, it's just hanging.
And you just like, you know what? And you tell Tyler, move on to the side. Let me go holler at this piece. That is what you would be doing by giving up. And now who knows? Now you get her home, and listen, that's a whole nother
issue. Turn that hoe into a housewife.
No, but you don't know.
But she can't cook.
And then she steals your wallet. Listen.
You're supposed to be big pimp on the block. You're supposed to be the group that train these hoes, get these hoes right.
You wake up and your wallet is gone. Okay, right. That could be you with Kyrie, and you now you don't have either one. That's a terrible idea, giving up a Tyler Herro.
Man,
like if you give up Tyler Herro, it needs to be a sure thing.
I mean, listen, and we didn't even and do the Nets want to marry Tyler?
I mean,
listen,
do they have a choice?
Well, they do have a choice. That's why we still have him.
Come on.
But I don't think they were ever going to give.
No, but
But what was interesting with the Tyler involvement is that in the prior offseason, if they were really going to pursue the KD thing or whatever, one could assume that Tyler would have been a part of the package because it won't go be Bam, won't go be Jimmy. And so they weren't biting on it then. And so that's why I kind of found it interesting that like whatever that report was a few days ago was like Brooklyn said they would be interested in Bam, Jimmy, or Tyler. It's like, oh, so now you would be interested in Tyler. You ain't feel like you wanted Tyler when we tried to give you Tyler before.
But that was for KD. KD is the baddest one in the club. Yeah. You know what I mean? KD is a rock solid 10.
Yeah.
With a good job.
With a good job.
I know.
Like
that's what I'm saying, the audacity of Brooklyn, but then like you want to take this for the big, how you think I'm gonna give you for the left? Like I don't know.
I mean,
I wouldn't have included Tyler though.
I just think that honestly,
but
can I just say I really think like listen, if Kyrie would have came, hey, I'm not gonna act like we use them points. Like let's be realistic. Let's not act like we can't use that offense.
Oh,
like
kidding me?
I already know what it looked like. I know what this team looked like. But
can a guy pull up, please?
Exactly. But at the end of the day, the fact that he didn't come, I'm not hurt about it because technically that's not a position of need. That's a want to me. Yes. That's a want. I want somebody who can tween behind the leg, scoop, go underneath your mama's neck and lay up. I want that, but we don't need it. We need.
Well, I will say anybody that could score is a
I think that's
need.
the need. I think anybody that can
anybody
shoot.
not named Tyler Bear but Jimmy that can score consistently is a
I
need.
genuinely don't expect their shooting to remain this poor. The
I don't either.
the intermediate scoring, maybe the kind of tween get into a little pocket area, maybe, but like the shooting from distance, I genuinely
Running out of time, Bon.
I've been no, you're not
go.
telling me that. I've been told y'all time was
Right.
up.
I think it's done.
But you got to add a piece to help the pieces you're keeping.
Yes.
Well, that was
You
my
just
thing.
can't. You can't keep running them like every time you watch them. You can't have the people who you call quote unquote shooters playing the 5, guarding the 5. Like you just run them to death. Off screens, down the court, up the court. Now I'm boxing out. Now I'm trying to rebound. Now I'm trying to set a screen. Now I'm doing all these things.
Now I
like,
gotta read pick and roll. Now I gotta make a pass with my left hand.
You can't have them doing all these things and then say, Max, why you not shooting better? Well, shit. I literally just did all these things. Plus, I just scored 12 points, but none of them are threes, so y'all still yelling at me. So we got to figure out how to help the guys that you're going to keep and how to keep them fresh. Because the other night, Spo said something very interesting. He said, this was in the New York game, Max looks good because 1, he was fresh. 2, because the passes were the right passes to him. We were hitting him in his pocket. We were hitting him in rhythm. And he didn't have to do 100 things. So sometimes when you try to have people do other things, when you stop simplifying the game, you make it hard for the entire team.
So part of that,
I don't think people understand how like important solid shooting pocket good passes are. Like small things can throw a shooter's rhythm, balance, all of that stuff off. Having to come off of a corner too wide. Who?
Max ain't. Every time Max shoots, his feet ain't nowhere near where they. Not every time, but all his misses, his feet look all fucked up.
Yeah, he
lot
looks
of it is bad passes at the end of a shot clock.
Well, and that's the other. You can't give me the ball with 2 seconds left and then turn around and look at me.
and guys, that's really what Tiff, what you just said. It's kind of like my thing on the Kyrie trade was, okay, well, you give, I mean, whatever, you swap your point guard who's playing bad for one who's going to play good, and you give Tyler, who is a scorer, for somebody who scores better. And that doesn't address like really the biggest thing, that you don't have a 4 and you're still 2 wings short. And you could do that. And I think I made a joke in the chat that people are mad that if you make that trade, you lose to the Celtics in 6 instead of 4. You know, because at the end of the day, like you're still missing the things that make you a functional basketball team. Yeah, and at that point, you don't have anything really to move for something that you need. Yeah. So they're kind of in a position where, and listen, part of that's their fault. It's self-created that they didn't really do anything in the offseason. Whether that was right or wrong or waiting for Durant, I don't want to relitigate that. But, you know, they're in this mistake. And, you know, just because you trade for Kyrie doesn't kind of take away their other issues. And that's something that they're just going to have to live with. And there's going to be no perfect solution. Saying that, let's kind of move on to what they can do. Because trade deadline's on Thursday. They have some picks that they could move. They have obviously salary, you know, that Kyle and Caleb and Oladipo, and they're gonna have to have conversations on all this stuff. So let's kind of start. I think we're all in agreement that the thing that they need the most is somebody to play power forward, right?
No, not somebody. Somebody over 6'8".
Okay. Yeah, somebody who's
because they've already proven not just somebody can play power forward. You need somebody with some goddamn size. And I know OG Anunoby is 6'7", but that's good enough.
Oh, we can start with
legs.
OG.
It's the rest of the size. Size ain't just height. He got a good base.
We can start with OG now. I don't know how much reporting has been done, but you know, I know that Ethan Skolnick said that the Raptors and the Heat are talking. Ethan and Leif said the Raptors and Heat are talking. So what does that mean? Does that mean Van Vliet? Does that mean Anunoby? You know, what's going on there? And
I think it has to be OG.
Yeah, because why would we get another small guard?
Unless would they be coming off of Kyle? Like, I don't see them keep like a Kyle and Van Vliet backcourt. Like, I don't know what and who would be going out to get Van Vliet. Like, I didn't even hear him connected to Miami. It doesn't make sense to me, at least on the surface. It has to be OG for me. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Van Vliet has kind of the same issues as Kyle, I think, in which he's a bad finish. I mean, Kyle's not a historic bad finisher, but he's a bad finisher this year. But I mean, what he does, he gives you some shooting. He gives you a little bit of punch. But Nikias says when the Heat trade Dedmon in a second for Banton. I'm not a Van Vliet.
Listen, I like Lucas Sabbath.
I don't know who the hell Delano Banton is. I know
he looked like Lucas Sabbath. He looked like Lucas Sabbath. You ain't never seen them two in the same room together.
I don't like that Nikias. You know damn well what you're doing. I don't play NBA 2K. I don't know no Delano Banton.
Shout out to
I know Buju Banton
for the sub.
But what would that mean? Like, if you let's start with Fred. Like, what does that mean? Obviously, Kyle would have to go back because you can't have those two and then play, and then you're having Tyler at the 3. Good Lord,
and still no forward. Like,
who's looking at this? Like, nobody wants to look at that.
It's FV. Wait, I wasn't paying attention. I was doing something else. I don't know what I was. It's Fred VanVleet and no OG.
Right. I'm saying, what could it be? You know,
no. There's no one or the other.
Because
no
Alphonse is like, I don't want Van Vliet.
There's only two people on the Raptors that I want.
You don't have to send back, by the way, Kyle.
Which we don't have what you need for that, or OG Anunoby. Like, there's
you don't have to send back Kyle. So I'm keeping Kyle and taking on Fred. I'm little as hell.
No, I'm not doing that.
You can send Duncan and like Dedmon, and you get to the
no.
So who's going to the bench?
Salary wise,
we know, but we're saying
yes for Van Vliet out.
The draft capital is what they
want. Who wants Fred VanVleet? What are we talking about here? Why do we want Fred
VanVleet?
I'm
just saying. I mean, that's just one of the
nobody
wants
to ban Fred VanVleet.
I want Anunoby.
I would feel like if you're the Raptors, literally, like that phone call about a point guard should have 3 days. Like today, we should be talking about getting one of their forwards. There is no reason we should be talking about getting Fred. Listen, Fred, one of Illinois' finest, love him to death. But like realistically, if you're my size, I don't see you on the Heat anymore. This is done. We can't be the switching and this and that. I'm tired of seeing poor Gabe and everybody getting dunked on. Like, no more small guards. And like I said, I honestly don't feel like the point guard, because you technically don't really need one, but the point guard position is not so pitiful that we got to go run and get Fred VanVleet and use all the monopoly money when we should be begging for OG.
That's it. My thing is, there's no reason for it, right? Like, why are getting Fred VanVleet on an expiring deal? To send out Kyle? Like, you're moving deck chairs on the Titanic. I don't really see what the point of that is. To me, like, if you're getting Fred VanVleet because it's part of a deal where you're sending out Kyle, but you're bringing in a power forward,
fine,
OG, okay. But like, if there's just a deal for Fred VanVleet, what we out here doing? We out here playing, like you said, we're doing play. Like, we're just
let's play
with diminutive chubby point guards. I don't want I like Gary Trent Jr. Nice player. I don't care about a move for Gary Trent Jr. unless it's involving a power forward. Like,
if you get a power forward, don't bring nobody. Don't waste. Don't waste nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm saying if you can't say here's the new starter next to Bam, and I don't have to look up at him, don't bring him. Don't bring him. Save all these chips till the summer and push all that shit in the middle of the table.
I wonder if they can do like some kind of construction where they, if Lowry's involved in the deal, you reroute Lowry to the Clippers so that the Clippers give more stuff to the Raptors. So you make this like a 3-team deal. It also makes it easier for everybody salary-wise. If the Clippers really, really want Kyle Lowry, you could construct something where Kyle goes to the Clippers and Anunoby comes to Miami, and you send salary and draft capital, from both teams, to the Raptors, and you get sort of construction like that.
I've seen people formulating 3-team deals. I think I've seen the 4-team deal. Like, it's people out here.
I think I normally am not
too many people involved.
Sometimes
too many hands.
sometimes you need a third team because just money doesn't work.
Where you-
All
And,
these
like,
hands
That's
in
where
my pocket.
you lose,
That's
you
how
lose a
Cleveland
Max
ends
Strus
up-
by accident or some shit like that. Like, what?
You lose
Right.
oh shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be a sad
That
day.
happened with Jared
Listen,
Allen.
it's-
Vaughn,
What I,
I swear to God, I had a Max.
I swear to God, I had Max right here.
Max out
Y'all.
here,
I had
Minnesota
a-
lost. Like, what?
I knew it was a game.
Y'all.
Vincent.
the dust settles
Let-
and
put my-
fucking
Let me just tell y'all, if what is the deadline? Thursday?
Thursday.
If
Yeah.
I come on here and we done fucking traded Max for like a second round and somebody that played for the Spurs that I ain't never heard of.
You're gonna be mad at me, Tiff. My thing is, I would prefer you move Duncan, but if you can't, you have to move Max because Spo has proven
For someone on the
Well,
Spurs
then
that
when
you
are we
never
gonna
heard
move Duncan?
of. Why are you doing that?
No, because here's the thing: Spo has proven he don't want to play both of them. If you let Max get to this summer, you got to pay Max. So now you paying Max and Duncan, and then you're not going to.
Oh, you moving Duncan this summer?
Are you?
I'm
You
if I'm
better
working
have,
there.
or that's-
If I'm working there, I am.
But you might have to attach an asset to move Duncan.
Then Alf, you might like San Antonio.
But
Copy, paste, attach. Like I don't know.
Well,
that's the
attach
thing, like,
picture.
The
You wanna
only,
move
I
it.
want to clear something up. Hold on, Alf. The only reason you have to get rid of Duncan is to save Mickey tax money. Because in reality, that's
we
not
already know that's going to happen.
okay, but that's not affecting like their ability to. I think people don't like. That's not stopping them from doing other things because they're like not close to the hard cap. So like that's the only thing that would matter. And at this point, they want to operate as an over the cap team. Because even let's say you amnesty Duncan and Kyle, you create like $17 million in cap space. Bogdanovic makes 20. You can't fucking sign a starter with $17 million in cap space.
Right.
And because you operate under the cap, you can't sign anybody more than $17 million. So they like to operate as an over the cap team because you can do sign and trades and you can sign people over and keep your guys and then do like acceptance and all that. So I don't really know what the utility of moving Duncan's money is, you know. Like I don't like unless
it's a cat. It's going to be to save Mickey money.
yeah, exactly.
And you know they're going to try to do it. And then, but one thing I will say, people are like, "Oh, they use draft picks to get off of bad contracts all the time." That is absolutely not true. Like they never.
It's only
used-
happened once in the recent memory that,
and
I
that was
have.
that's because they needed to get off money to get Jimmy Butler.
And it wasn't a tax thing, Alf. It was they needed to shed $10 million to get under the hard cap, which is why they waive and stretched Anderson, saved them $5 million, and then they traded Harkless with a pick to the Clippers to get
so
under.
I don't like this whole idea that they're going to, So the thing is, they're not going to use an asset to get rid of Duncan, and they're going to want to save Mickey money, so they're not going to pay Max what they need to pay. Like Max is going to command a pretty decent salary most likely this summer, and that's the only reason I'm saying. And if it was up to me, who would I rather have going forward? I'd rather have Max Strus, and hopefully Duncan can get you something. But if he can't, to me, I'm like, you have to do something with Max by the deadline, or risk losing him for nothing this summer.
Well, also Oladipo and Gabe, and I think if you're the
Well,
organization,
Depot has no trade clause.
No,
does he?
he
Oh yeah, 'cause
can-
he has a
Well, he
a
can
1 year.
veto.
Yeah,
He can
he
He has
veto.
to veto.
He can
He
veto,
has
yeah.
veto. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you sign a 1-and-1, that comes with that. Typically, players waive that, and I mean,
My thing is they have to start making some decisions, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to re-sign these guys? And if you're not, like, do you feel you're a contender this year? And this is a different thing than tanking or blowing it up, right?
Right.
Do you feel like a Max Strus is the difference between a second round exit and an NBA Finals appearance? Because to me, he's not, right? With Max, without Max, they're a second round exit. That's how I feel about this team. You have to make that decision. And if he is not somebody who is going to make a difference this year contending, and you're not planning on paying him this summer, it behooves you to get something for him. Like
I
trade
think
him
the
to a
problem
team that needs
is-
some shooting.
I think the problem is they don't know who they are.
But listen,
That-
I've
that's
defended
what-
the front office all the time. If you don't know who the fuck you are,
I think they
this
don't know
long-
yet.
this
I think
bill-
they know.
Oh yeah,
No. But I'm saying but I'm not saying like, oh, we think we steal this or that. I think they don't know what they want to do. That's what I'm saying.
And
They
to me,
know.
that is a problem.
Well, because think about
What
it this
they want
way.
to do with regards to what though, Tiff?
All of them.
No,
All of them.
I think they know. If I'm them, I think you probably. I think you have to make a decision. I think you'd probably rather keep Gabe because he's cheaper, and I think that they probably don't move any of those guys unless it's like for something better.
But this is what I'm saying. If you have to look at it this way. Are you winning or not? Like it's point blank. You got like three players who will be up. Maybe is Yurt up also? Like you've got all these who are up. Are you winning or not this year? Because my thing is either you're going for it or now you're sitting around the table saying, oh, who can we keep? Like those are the two things you should be trying to do right now. Either you about to trade off everybody you could trade to try to get somebody to win, or now you're going to sit around and say, all right, I only like Yurt. Let's get rid of everybody else. Like you have to figure it out. Like now, if you go into the next half of the season with body, you've lost.
And that so
But
when you see these trades and like
Because you
people are
can't
like,
re-sign everybody. So you literally have lost them, and then you just let them walk away for nothing.
That's what Alpha was saying about Max. So you just
Well, but then you see
No,
these
but they
trades
have to
where
know.
It's like
But they have to know.
It's like 2 first-round picks, Kyle and Max for OG and Gary Trent, and people are like, "Oh no, you can't trade Max." I'm like, no,
I'm trading Max for OG.
But I'm saying at some point, like there has to be these decisions made. Like you got to give them something of value.
No, but they're not. Hold on, let's not get mistaken. They're not attached to Gabe and Max and Oladipo and Yurt. We've seen these people. They're not married to those guys, and they'll. I mean, listen, you saw them. They told Kendrick Nunn played really well for them, and they just straight up didn't even. I don't even think they offered him a deal. You know what I mean? So it's like, they might just say, well, we need these guys to. Let's say there's nothing really. Let's say they strike out on Vanderbilt and Anunoby and fucking Bogdanovic and Naz Reid and all these guys that everybody likes. Let's say they just really can't get in the game for any of them. They might just say if they can't really move Max or Gabe for something that they can help them this year, plus like a second, they might just say, fuck it. If they walk, I guess we just use the next half of the season to decide which of the two we keep. I really think Oladipo is just going to be out of their price range. And then at that point, they go from there and they have a real offseason. But Tiff, I disagree. I think they know that they're not good enough. I think they know that they're like two wings and a
No, I'm
away.
saying they know that part, but I feel like they just don't know what direction to go into.
In the offseason? No, but they only have one direction. They're
not the
they're not a team that
offseason.
sells. No, like even
I even mean right now.
This week, yeah, but they don't sell. They never.
I mean,
sell.
right now too.
They never sell. Like they're not going to sell Max for a dude you've never heard of in 2 seconds. They're going to try to call people and try to convince them to take Max for somebody around his level. Maybe what they might do is somebody who's having a bad year that they're like, I can fix her, right? And it's like, hey, I think my guy needs to change the scenery. I think your guy needs to change the scenery. Let's do some
Girl,
business.
they better not bring no new projects in this second half of the season.
But in order to do that, I think that's maybe what Tiff might be alluding to, and maybe I'm misunderstanding her too. I think that they have. Do you think that they have an honest enough assessment of if they genuinely feel like they would be able to compete this current season, even with doing something in the season? Or maybe this is just how I want you to be saying it, because it's kind of how I feel. Like, I don't know. Do they? Do you think that they are, I don't know, I guess closer to putting whatever chips into the table at the trade deadline now to be, let's try to win it all? Or do you think that they are sitting around saying, well, I don't think that we can put together anything right now that makes us competitive enough to compete?
The only guy available that can kind of put them in that edge is I think OG Anunoby. He's the only available player. I think if you talk about Bogdanovic,
I think so.
That is like a stretch. Like you're talking, like if you
need one more, you still need a guard.
I think you need one more. But like, let's say you tell me if we get Bogdanovic, I think that everyone starts playing better because of what Tiff said. Yeah, and I think the East kind of stinks this year. You could talk yourself into it. I think anything less than that, like
you still
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt
you do. I don't know. Caleb goes back
Yeah.
to the bench. Vanderbilt doesn't do it. Bogdanovic may. OG does.
I don't think
Caleb
Bogdanovic
goes back
does
to the
it
bench
either, to be honest. But
he
Well,
gets
you
you
need
close.
to.
He gets you closer.
He gets
But
you
the
closer
thing,
than anybody else.
You still need someone else. If you brought in Bogdanovic, you
That's
still
saying
have to
D'Lo.
bring in another piece.
Tiff,
Yeah.
I want to address the D'Lo thing.
I like D'Lo.
I know
Yeah.
you like D'Lo, and I don't think D'Angelo Russell's a bad player. I think it's such a lateral move, and I know Kyle's been fucking dog shit for a month, but like prior to that month, Kyle wasn't like as bad as you guys like say he was. I mean, he was for like a long stretch of the season shooting 38% from three. It's just the last month has absolutely tanked him, and he's looked horrible. By the way, his EPM is still positive, which is crazy, and like his
Does
impact,
D'Lo?
Huh?
Does D'Lo and Bogdanovic do it? So OG himself does. Yeah, I don't know how that happens, but like the machination of them two.
I mean, D'Lo's having his best shooting season of his career. He's at
What's
39%.
his numbers?
D'Lo's shooting 39% from three.
He's still
and
getting
66.
past people.
Yeah,
He is shooting better.
he's a good playmaker.
He's matured.
I worry about him on defense, and I worry about him and Tyler at the end of games together. And I
He's
think
a Dwayne guy.
that's where I hesitate, because like I think, especially if you're talking about Bogdanovic and D'Lo, and all of a sudden you're closing with Bogdanovic, D'Lo, Tyler, Bam, Jimmy, and I'm like, I don't really know how I feel about this.
You don't necessarily have to close with Tyler.
I mean, it depends on who you got left.
They're gonna
It depends
close
on
with Tyler.
It depends on who you have left. It does.
First of all, I wouldn't close with D'Lo, but I don't know who left. I don't know who's left on the bench after if you make those two trades.
I gotta be honest
We've
with
seen
you, Bon.
Spo not be beholden to closing lineups.
And correct, and I want everybody to correct me if I'm wrong. I think if Kyle can give you what he gave you last season, I prefer that over D'Lo. Because of the defense.
If you're adding someone else.
If you're adding someone else. I'm just saying, in that world where you get another guy, and if you talk about Kyle or D'Lo, obviously Kyle's been like horrible this calendar year. It's been bad.
If you brought OG, I don't care if you the point guard.
I think if they bring OG, I think that launches them into like the Sixers and Bucks tier. I think they'd have to prove that they're better than Boston. But I think as we've seen, listen, and everybody made fun of me yesterday, Alf, because I tweeted, man, they play like they're bad. They're a fucking 6 seed fighting for their life not to be in the play-in. And I was like, they play every good team to the fucking buzzer, and they win a lot of them. And everybody's like, oh, played good teams hard, hang the banner. You're close.
But they win. That's the thing, is they win a lot of these games, but
and then lose to Charlotte.
And then they lose to bad teams, and then they lose some of those. They are what their record is, right?
Someone's like, because of Bam and Jimmy. Yeah, because they're fucking good. So if you get OG and Anunoby
like you
or
take
somebody
the best
good
players on any other team, they suck. Like,
you know what I mean?
If you get OG,
they're only good because of Bam and Jimmy. Boston's only good because of Tatum.
No, but
and Brown.
Alpha, I'm just saying that's exactly why. Like, I think that they're a little closer than people think.
Well, no, that's the thing. And what I would say is they do have a championship tandem, and I think they have a guy who could be the third best player on the championship team in Tyler Herro. The problem is everything else after that. No, what my thing is, if Tyler's going to be your third best player, Caleb Martin can't be your fourth, right?
Okay, certainly.
Right.
It's got to be somebody way better than Caleb Martin. But he can be one. He can be one of your big four, whatever your core four. He can be the core of a championship team. Like where they are right now is they are a slightly above average NBA team.
Right.
Because when you take Jimmy and Bam off the floor, their numbers drop off of a fucking cliff. Like John Jablanca on Twitter talks about it all the time. It's not even anymore like when Bam's on, they're good. No. It has to be Bam and Jimmy. If it's just Bam, they're not good. If it's just Jimmy, they're not good. And they need Bam and Jimmy because the drop off after them is so horrifically bad. And I don't know what happened to the supporting cast. I don't know what happened to these role players. Tiff and Siobhan say all the time they're being asked to do things that they weren't asked to do before, and that's probably
it's nothing to back them up.
Right.
And like, because it used to be PJ Tucker was doing the Caleb things, and then Caleb just came in and did Caleb things. Now Caleb is trying to do PJ things and Caleb things. Max is running pick and rolls. Like they are.
I'm trying to do Kyle things.
Kyle's right there and dying by Gabe shots. Kyle Lowry, there'll be a 5-minute stint. You're like, Kyle's back. And the other 35 minutes, you're like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, it looks like they just put a fat dude on the court from the crowd. Like, there's just so much inconsistency.
Even Vic,
even Vic, who I really, really like, man, there's sometimes Vic takes some bad shots. Bad fucking shots. There's sometimes
you can correct that.
Vic throws a pass into the upper deck. There are times where Vic will dribble the goddamn air out of the ball. Like but Vic,
Kyle done thrown that hole to the concession stand a few times.
But I'm saying, that's the thing. There's so much inconsistency around this team.
Yep, that's it.
Like
the
OG,
inconsistency.
A guy like OG is any power forward at this point.
Yes,
a good starting power forward puts so many people into place.
And Caleb back on the bench.
It just shifts.
One of the main people.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I prefer OG Anunoby for basketball reasons over Kyrie Irving because it's a harder. Obviously, like superstar scorer is like, he's obviously Kyrie's one of one, but I just think like 3-and-D wing who actually does the 3
That's
and
the
D.
premium.
Yes, you need that.
They can't
That's
find
a need.
one, and you lock him up with Bam, and Jimmy. Like that's your front court for the next 3 years.
Well, and then
like,
people keep.
I like that.
I said, give them whatever the fuck they want.
Yes.
Chat's asking
If
about
you
John
believe-
Collins.
John Collins is not
okay.
that.
It
Let Al
depends
finish,
on what
and
he
then we'll
calls.
get to Collins.
We'll get to
We'll
get to him next.
Let Al finish.
So my whole thing, here's my whole thing with OG. I don't know if the Heat have enough, but what I would say is, if you believe that Jimmy, Tyler, and Bam can get you a championship, you give the Raptors whatever the fuck they want. They want Max Caleb, 3 first-round picks, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet shorts, whatever the fuck they want, you give it to them. Everything. Because if you're talking about going forward for years now, we're talking about years with OG, Tyler, Bam, and Jimmy, I can run point. Okay? We will be straight. Beat me off the dribble all you want. I dare you, motherfucker. Like, you know who's behind me?
So Miami,
Tyler, because Bam is switched out up front.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Miami's problem.
OG is back there though.
Miami's main issue,
Tyler, boy. Oh,
Alf,
damn.
is they have 2 picks to
You
trade.
go get D-Lo.
They only have 2 picks to trade.
Are they first rounders?
They're first. They have 2 firsts to trade. They have some seconds too, but really, I think what matters here are the first.
Don't they remove protections or something?
Right. What about the OKC pick?
So I mean, that's what is. I mean, I guess I don't know if you, because I mean, at that point, I don't know what you do if you're Miami. Like, what do you have to give them? And you might run out of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I've once asked. I asked somebody who would know, and I said, is Miami scared of removing the protections on the Thunder pick, or do they not, or is it just Presti being a pain in the ass? Nobody ever answered me on that, which made me wonder, is it just like they're scared because something bad could happen and then they're out that pick? So Miami has 2 unprotected first-round picks without OKC's help. So 2023 and 2029. They can do swaps in 24, 27, 28, and a second-round pick in 28 and 29. If they get Oklahoma City's help, they can unprotect 2025, and then they can have 3 unprotected first-rounders, and then swaps in 4 subsequent years. So they can get up to 3 picks and 4 swaps. As of right now, it's 2 picks and 3 swaps.
I feel like we don't leverage swaps enough. Like, I feel like swaps could, I don't know. I feel like we don't talk about it enough. Like,
I feel like swaps.
I'm down here drafting at 6. You down there drafting at 14. I know you like this one I got up here at 6. Why don't we, Alpha, we can't hear you, sweet.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, your mic's muted.
My bad. I said
It
Toronto,
sounds like
Miami
they
gonna
got
be
stuff.
Toronto, Miami gonna be within 3 picks of each other for the next 10 years. That's just how they roll.
So I don't know if that's enough. I think a team. I think 3's pretty steep for Anunoby, especially because you're gonna have to pay him. I mean, Anunoby's gonna get paid a bunch. I don't know what the deal's gonna look like.
Because he's good.
Yeah,
we
it's
need
gonna
more
be
people
more
that fucking deserve to get paid.
I'm gonna ask.
We got a whole bunch of people
should
should I pay this motherfucker?
I'm gonna ask a question, and then we're gonna move on to Collins. And we don't need a long explanation. I just want real quick. Would you include Tyler? Not that I don't know how possible that is, unless you involve the Spurs. Would you? Yes.
For OG?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to pay him anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was going to say. You talking about paying the 4.
Yeah, everybody in chat seems like they're in agreement as well.
I'm taking
Let's move on to Collins, because I find Collins to be kind of an interesting piece. So Collins is signed up until he has a player option in 2025, 2026 for almost $27 million. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2026. He's owed 23, 25, and 26 million before the player option. That's a lot of money. And I think that if you're Miami, you need to be sure that guy's the answer, because at that point, then you really are that. Now you're at a point that you may have to attach an asset to get rid of Duncan because you're so close to the hard cap. And Jimmy's near Supermax, Tyler and Bam's extension are all enormous and kick in. So Bon, I'll start with you because I know you have a lot of takes on John Collins. He doesn't do it for me, and I don't fuck up my. I don't think he moves their needle barely anything this season. I don't think they're better than Cleveland with him, for example, and so I wouldn't empty the clip.
I understand a little bit of the allure around him. I kind of have for the last couple of seasons, but I feel the exact same way. I don't think he moves that needle genuinely kind of at all. If you were telling me that you were going for a John Collins, I think I would still need a backup four's presence, because I would need to know that John Collins could play some four and give Jimmy some backup 3 minutes or something. Like, I don't see him still as your backup five. I wouldn't pay him. I would not pay John Collins to use him as kind of my backup five. If he was playing the four for me and I felt like he could give me some catch and rip, some cutting, some dribble drive, some stuff from the wing spot also, then maybe. But if I don't know that, and that is not my plan to develop him for that, I don't do it, and I still probably wouldn't do it, because I would still, me personally, also want some other more true to backup Bam type of size as well. He's never really been the girl for me, but she's cute, but she's not the type for me.
Yeah.
Tiff?
But I understand that she's attractive.
Right. I mean, like, I'd buy her a drink and all, but like, I ain't trying to take her home.
Top shelf, though. You playing top shelf?
No.
Top shelf. She can have a good drink. She can have a good drink.
She don't know she don't know the difference.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But you do, and you
Someone
know her
in chat goes,
potential. You want her to.
Someone in
She
chat
what?
goes, she cute, but her breath stinks.
We play too much. Listen.
Halitosis.
I mean, yeah, like, I like her and all, but like, for what they trying to do right now, if she was the last one on the table and Pat was like, I'm pulling the trigger, listen, I'm not gonna be mad, because I understand what they're trying to do if they do that trade. Like, I get it, but I feel like there's got to be a couple of more options out there. Like, before also, I don't like his salary. Like those, like, I don't like that last 2 years of that salary for him.
I don't like the way his shorts fit.
His
hips are a little something. It's something there. I don't
Weird
know.
high booty,
They
look like Sinbad.
medium.
Tiff, I don't even think that he feels so you said earlier, if you're not getting like a solid 4 backup 5 whatever, then I'd rather you do nothing. That's kind of how I feel about him.
Yeah.
I don't think he does that for you, so I'd rather you keep your chips to push them all in a little bit later. If they did it, I wouldn't be mad. I'd consider it a move to make a move, hopefully to get just some new energy in. He do got a weird waist, boners. Like, it's okay.
Like this.
Right.
His waist is like Derek White's head. It just doesn't make a ton of sense.
Oh,
just slope it.
Just slope it. You know the biggest problem I have with him, and this is in all seriousness. If you watch him play, 3 out of 5 possessions, he bails on defense. That's where I have the biggest problem.
It's the defense is so bad. Like, he
bails. It's like he's not even trying.
He's not even impactful on that side of the floor.
He has the tools, though.
No, he does. If you watch him physically, he should be really good.
Booty. Like,
but for some reason,
do you think he could switch? Do you think he could switch?
I would have taken Rui over John.
Do I think he could switch?
See, now, Siobhan, here's the thing.
They can't.
There are so many options. To me, there are these options out there that are a lot cheaper than John Collins that can do what John Collins does.
So who are other options,
like,
though?
I don't know if PJ Washington's available, but I feel like PJ Washington will be a cheaper option than John Collins. And PJ
We
Washington.
having all these discussions about shaky character ass individuals on the team. And we gonna go ahead. Ain't PJ? Ain't he?
No, that's the other one.
That was
You
That was Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges. My
Oh,
apologies.
why you casting
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
PJ's
My
name?
bad.
Woo.
My bad.
Wow,
PJ
man,
Washington.
PJ, we had you
straight.
PJ, we had you confused.
No, not even we. That's not we. No. PJ, me right here. That was me. My bad.
But PJ, like a guy like PJ Washington, like is a guy that
I
can
don't-
give you some of the things John Collins can give you at a much bonus cancel.
I'm not even
at a
something
much
else to chat
cheaper
that
price
I'm not
to
going to
me.
put up.
Like that's where the John Collins thing is like. I feel like
That's
there's
what
a
I
lot
was
of
talking
dudes
about.
out there that can beat John Collins. You know,
I know, and Alf, I don't want to. This is not a slight to Collins. I think he's a
not.
good player. I just have questions on. I think he's not a perimeter oriented player and defender enough to play next to Bam and Jimmy consistently.
Right.
I think there are questions of can he switch consistently on because when they're at their
He
best,
should
they
be
need
able
guys-
to.
I worry about like quicker guards. I think they may need to drop him. And I think once you start mixing in that drop, that becomes, as we've seen in the playoffs, even the Bucks that won the championship, like there were times that they had to go small Giannis at the 5 because they could not survive with a drop big against certain teams. So I have questions, and you're investing a lot of that. When you're mortgaging your freedom like that, you can't have all these questions. Like,
Future,
can
not
this guy
freedom.
play fourth quarters
Freedom.
against good offenses?
Black History Month,
Can-
you got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Ooh, girl.
Can he?
Ooh. She
Cat's
messy.
asking. I want to go through the last couple ones, and then we'll get out of here. I see the one right now. I want to go before I forget. Somebody asked Nerlens Noel. I know it was reported that the Heat are in talks with Nerlens Noel. I think he is a good option for your backup 5 role.
Absolutely.
I again have the same concern with him as nobody's going to be perfect. He's just a negative offensive player, and kind of stinks. But what can you do? He's not gonna get you like killed in the playoffs.
Where's he playing
Exactly.
at right now?
Can he give you what Yurt was giving you? Yurt
No,
won't give
Listen.
you.
not
Yurt was,
offensively.
you don't
I
think
mean,
so?
he's
But he
for
can-
He
sure-
can't just put the ball in the basket.
he's smaller,
But he
He's
can
not
run the
right out.
floor.
He is going to run it. He's going to take
He can
pressure
he
that
can
way.
yes, he can run the floor. He can crash the boards. He can get a tip in.
Rashawn Holmes. I
Listen,
have fewer questions.
and he can listen though. But Nerlens Noel can do one thing that somebody on this team can't do: set a solid screen
Without moving?
without moving.
I have
Where
fewer
is Nerlens
questions
Noel?
about-
Where is Nerlens at
Detroit.
right now?
Detroit.
Detroit
making
got
any-
everybody.
He's played 13 games this season.
Is he making any money?
Not enough to matter.
Can we get him for Deadman? Is my question.
I believe so. I will check.
Because I just
I got one dead for you. I ain't.
I got that's all I got.
I ain't got a second round of product. I ain't got
I
it
ain't got it, brother. I ain't got it. Do it.
because that's good insurance if Yurt doesn't.
I
look
think
right.
so. I think
You have to have somebody because you can't say we're set because Yurt is coming back. We have
He
no
makes-
idea what he's gonna
He
look
makes
like.
9, so it's Deadman and something else.
What we got?
See, that depends on what that something else is.
Right, because I don't think he worth the
I think
something
he can-
else.
I think he can do some
So-
drop coverage for you. I have fewer questions about John Collins. I think John Collins could do some switching stuff for you. They just have to get him acclimated, like in a defensive body. I think that he could, but I wouldn't mind.
Caleb gets it done.
No, not doing
No,
Deadman
No. Ooh,
Deadman
no.
plus.
For Nerlens.
a lie. I'm not trading none of them for him.
it. No,
They need to get to like about $7 million because you need like up to 75.
I get Dwight
Not
Howard
the-
from Shanghai
No,
first.
no.
So that's exactly
I go
call
get-
Dwight Howard. If you need somebody just to run the floor, set
Yes.
screens, and rebound, call Dwight
Catch
Howard.
a lob.
So
Dwight can still dunk.
let me tell you
Amazing.
why
I don't know.
this starts to get complicated because his figures at like 9 point something. So you
Who?
need to get close to that. Noel. Deadman's at 4.7, and really anything above that is Herro at 5.7 with the poison pill. Obviously, you're not trading Herro there. Caleb at 6.4,
Herro for
Oladipo, who has a no trade clause, and then Duncan. So obviously that's out of it. Unless you convince Detroit to take Duncan and you do like Noel and other shit for Duncan, that's a different story. I don't see that happening.
Could Could we get Bogey?
No.
If you're doing,
Can I get
that-
Bogey for Duncan?
Zach Lowe, I thought made a great point on his podcast and why Detroit's being so stingy with Bogdanovic, because they're going to be under pressure to win next. That front office is going to be under pressure to win next season. They got to pass because Cunningham got hurt. And next season, they have to they need to make a real play-in/playoff push or all those dudes are getting fired. And I understand them being like, I need a good player with our young guys. I need a good vet with our young players. I need a good shooter, a veteran. So they're like, unless your offer blows us away, we're okay with keeping a good player that we have under contract to play with us next year. And I think that makes sense. And it starts to color why Detroit's being a pain in the ass about Bogdanovic. So I kind of don't really think that Miami can get in that game for him. Bon, you're making
I
faces.
feel like why is Detroit's staff or whatever under fire this soon? Cades is what, his second year. Jaden Ivey ain't he a rookie? Like, why? I feel like they should have at
It's been
least
a while.
three more comfortable years with the core that they have now.
They need to stop kicking the can. They got to start, Cade's going to be in his third year next year. And like, you got to start showing that. But you got to start showing that you can win games. You know what I mean? Like Orlando's doing it now, right? Orlando's kind of, okay, this is like the third or fourth year of whatever this is. And you're like, I see it.
No,
so,
it's not. Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like all those, Gordon's gone. All those guys, it's like all these guys that they just got after the playoff builds that they were.
Have some
AC.
fucking patience.
I don't disagree with you, but that's just how the league works. So if that front office feels like I'm under fire or I got to win or I got to win, I got to show something. You need veterans. You just can't have a bunch of, you know what I mean? So I think that's understandable for them. As far as Noel, difficult to get to that salary figure for Miami. It's a nice piece. They can do it, but it might require Caleb, and it might require a 13.
And you still don't have a 4.
Dedmon, Nikola, and like Max get you right, but like, are you doing that for Noel? No way.
No. We ain't doing none of them for Noel.
I'm waiting for a buyout on Noel.
Right.
I didn't know he was that expensive.
Yeah, better take this bag of Lay's chips and like it. Like, what are we doing? We can't do that.
I didn't know he was that expensive.
I mean, it was just because like
top
Max doesn't
shelf.
have like a contract.
You pick up a sweater, you're like, oh, this is cute. Oh no. When you see that tag,
Right.
$39.95 for this.
Vanderbilt.
I already got one this color. I
already got it.
Jared
It's been
Vanderbilt.
all right for $19.95, but $39, shit, no.
Vanderbilt.
Vandy's at $4.3 million, which is a beautiful, perfect swap for Dedmon.
For Dedmon, sure.
It's probably Dedmon and some seconds. Although I don't know if you're the Jazz, I'm sure you can get something better for Vanderbilt, who's kind of a desirable player.
Of course.
I don't.
The shop ain't even open no more. What the hell are they gonna do with him?
Yeah, I mean, so Dedmon is the salary.
Noel is target expensive. We look for Walmart deals. Shit.
Would you do Nikola
For who?
for Vanderbilt?
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, Vanderbilt is kind of plays it for it, doesn't shoot, which is kind of the problem.
Then we already done. It's already
Vanderbilt's
over.
not helping. He's not doing anything for you this season. I'd rather keep Nikola as a chip.
Yeah, I'm not like chat's telling me to stop trying to trade Nikola. I'm just asking questions. I'm asking the question.
Listen. Everybody's tradable for the right person. This ain't the right person.
It's not.
It's not the right person.
Chat's like Naz Reid. Naz Reid is too many people want Naz Reid. I just don't think Miami is going to get into that game. Olynyk is the last guy I really want to talk about. I already traded Kyle. I said I trade Kyle for Anunoby. You know what I mean? I've moved Kyle already. I wouldn't trade him for D'Lo, but you're out, Alf. Good
Bye,
Alf.
Alf.
Alf has.
By the way, bring me Kelly Olynyk.
Bring me Kelly Olynyk.
Is that who you want?
Alphonse.
Right
Caleb.
Olynyk's the last guy.
That price tag first.
Uh-huh.
Kelly Olynyk is a guy.
I like it if it's on the clearance rack.
I'm
not
before you
taking
guys,
SRP.
hold on. I'll tell you. Olynyk makes 12, so you're still in that kind of. But I would trade Caleb plus Dedmon and something for
yes.
I do that. That gets you starting.
What's the something? You didn't need to do the something. Just give me Caleb and Dedmon. That something scares me.
That something is like just salary.
And then Hamish is just gonna slide right into that backup 4 spot. Hercules.
All right, y'all.
Buyout.
So that's a move.
released.
Olynyk
Yeah.
puts them into the tax because there's
I
no
almost
way
hit
that they
end
can
broadcast by the. That's not
You
a no.
fucking. So this is buyout.
Buyout.
This man. Finally, we're back home, baby. Back home.
Back
As we close out the show here. So Olynyk kind of becomes. So Olynyk's deal at 12.8, almost 13. That's kind of tough. So you need to get up to 75% of that. So let's just go 12.8. You got to get to about $9.6 million in salary, which gets complicated for them. That puts the heat at the tax. So that's something that the organization has to be like, does Olynyk make me good enough that I want to pay the tax?
I'm not going into the tax. I'm not going into the tax for Kelly.
It's like, yeah, if you're Mickey, I can certainly, as fans are going to get mad at him, they're going to be a tax team next year. There's just no way to avoid that. So what I've always told people is, and I want to make something clear. I'm not out here to wave pom-poms for the organization. I don't really care if these billionaires save money in tax or not.
Play the rap music, G.
That's not, I don't got it, but I don't really care about that. I'm just here to explain how these rich white people think. And I understand them saying, stop. I understand them. It's funny. I thought you were going to cancel me for calling Mickey white because
he is.
There's a discourse there. Oh, we welcome
Yeah.
in.
Come on, keep going.
What up?
Oh,
We welcome in Franky.
From the comments section myself.
From the comment section, Franky. So as we wrap out this show, regardless of whether they pay the tax or not, I think getting Olynyk's a little complicated without a third team. Dedmon and Caleb get you there. I do that.
I do it.
Are you in on that?
And Caleb
for Kelly O.
Hey yo,
what's Kelly's
And then-
contract? How many years does he have left?
Kelly has a partially guaranteed for $3 million next year. He's at 12, but partially guaranteed for 3. So that actually might save money next year.
Right.
I don't know because I'm not opposed to moving Caleb, and I think they should sell high on him. My thing is
that high?
No, but for Kelly, like, does that make you a contender now?
I think it certainly makes them better, but
does Kelly get you closer than Bogey would? Because
no,
I don't think so.
No
I don't
way,
think
no
so.
way,
No, that's why I wouldn't go into the tax for Kelly. Like I wouldn't. No.
Sorry, Franky.
It does free up a roster spot. That's another thing that they can, because Dedmon's a waste of a roster spot, and they could sign a free agent or.
So they have to convert Orlando at some point.
That's one thing they could use, and they can sign a two-way guy and have another roster spot like that.
They love doing that. I think something like that's pretty realistic.
Do you think? Did you guys? I'm sorry. I woke up like halfway through. Did you guys talk about deciding on Vic?
He has a no trade clause. So
You can't. It's up to him.
Yeah.
But if you sell him to a contender, I think he'd say yes.
What contender wants?
So a contender that needs a guard that can defend.
Clippers?
Look at the Clippers.
It all comes back to the Clippers. Well, for me, Franky, in the Toronto trade I talked about. So like, my thing with the Raptors is, why would the Raptors want Lowry back unless they just want to put butts in seats? But in reality, he just doesn't really match up with what they want to do right now. So what I talked about was maybe rerouting Kyle to the Clippers and doing a that I don't like 3-team deals, but this one makes sense because everybody wants something that the team has, and it just makes it easier. So the Clippers get Lowry, the Raptors get draft equity plus stuff, and then Miami gets Anunoby, for example, in this scenario. Like maybe you can reroute Vic there and get something like Covington or something, but like I kind of like that. I kind of prefer a wing other than Vic. I know, Bond, you love Depot. I have my.
I do. I'd put a wing. I'd take a wing back for him.
I take a wing just because. Well, I mean, but once you trade Lowry, now you're a guard. Now you're one guard less, and now it's just Gabe.
If I'm trading
Tyler,
for OG, sorry to cut you off, G. If I'm trading for OG, You really don't need Covington as much. Like he can play the backup four.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, chat's right.
Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even trade. I wouldn't even worry about it. Like I keep telling y'all, Hamish is right there for your backup,
Yeah.
No, really.
and you
no,
still
we're
got
not
Vic.
trading Vic for Covington.
No,
We're
we're not trading Vic for
The question
Covington.
was.
No, because what you're going to still need, as we all know in the playoffs, you're still going to need that defensive pressure on those guards. So if you can keep Vic, why wouldn't you?
no, I agree.
And
My
keep it
thing-
a buck too. Like he wasn't finishing well. Maybe he still isn't finishing
Right.
quite as well, but he's
But the
still getting by people. He's still
yep.
or he's sucking defenses and he's still collapsing defenses.
Yeah.
And he's
At
still
least the big
guarding.
Phrase.
He's
And
still guarding.
guarding.
So listen, you don't need 20 points from him. You've got other people who score. Now you need to actually fill out an entire team. Like
Yeah, and
you
Vic's
need
been their
a-
best playmaker off the bench this last
Yes.
month, and so he hasn't been converting, but he's been creating for other people.
Yes.
Okay, last thing as we got out of here. And just kind of circling back to everything we talked about. What's the worst player that you would include Jovic in a trade for?
Oh, the worst.
I think it's probably Bogdanovic.
It is Bogdanovic.
He's
for
got
me.
the player has to have more than 1 year for me on his contract. I'm not.
What does Bogey have? What does Bogey have?
Bogey's
on
got
his-
He has
2
some
years
years,
after this.
His
Okay.
contract's actually kind of big. It's like in the 20s. It's like low 20s, like
But
high
but
teens.
the way he plays, I'm not mad at it.
No.
Does New Orleans want to come off of one of their 5 bigs? Is Larry Nance admitted there? I'm real.
I would
What's
love
Larry
Larry
Nance
Nance.
doing?
I would love Larry
What's
Nance
Larry
too.
I don't think you
What
watch
is
them more than
Jackson
I do.
Hayes doing? How do they feel about him?
I would take
Are
a
they
flyer on
cool
Kira
with
Lewis.
The guard, we're looking at 4. I need a 4.
No, but
Frank.
hold on. I'm saying these are the kind of moves where like the Heat need to consider. Like you trade. Hey, Kira's not helping you now. Max is a proven guy who can play in the playoffs. Change of scenery. He'll shoot. He'll probably shoot a lot better for you in the right role. Those are the kind of moves where you buy low on a guy and you give it up on. Obviously, you got to give up on Max, but you got things you need. You know, you need youth. You need athleticism.
Right.
You need guys who
Well,
are gonna
but that's
be able
in
to build around this.
But that's if you're not getting an OG.
I think regardless.
If I'm getting an OG, I'm not bringing in no more. I gotta coach
Projects?
you up. No, that's done. Because if you're bringing in OG, you're telling me we trying to win right now. I ain't got time for you to do homework. Like you got to be up to speed and ready to go. So bringing in projects on top of bringing in this dude, I feel like you're still pulling the team in 2 different directions. Like
If you bring in projects that you feel are confident can produce for you, and you really, really feel like the rest of what you would have, like I don't believe that they're going to continue to shoot this poorly. But if they're of the mind that they've squeezed all that they could squeeze out of their role guys, then like
I think I've just kind of come to a point of this conversation where, like, you know, we've talked about these deals, and it's just like they're at best for like the receiving team getting the Heat stuff. It's mostly like how much do you value a Heat first round pick? How much do you value Jovic? Right? Like anything to get you anything decent is like it starts at 1 pick, Jovic, and
people like
salary.
Jovic.
Yeah,
We
that's
should
fine.
like Jovic.
But it's like, I don't know if you're like do you feel good about that if you're either team on like a year like this? And it's just like it's a weird year. Like even
That's what I'm saying.
Olynyk,
Everyone's not going to compete. So like
if you're
get some
like
stuff.
if you're Utah, why do you take Miami's pile of shit? You know what I mean? Like what's in it? Like I'm not giving a first for Olynyk. And like I think we all agreed that like we probably shouldn't move Jovic for Olynyk. So it's really like is 2 seconds gonna get it done? I'm sure that somebody should offer more for Olynyk, because at the end of the day you can't even play Olynyk in like the end of like important games. We've already seen that. We've literally seen this before. He doesn't play the end of important games. So I'm just kind of at a point that it's like, unless somebody just wants to swap like kind of around, it's like there's not really a move to be made, because like we don't feel great about this year.
But
unless it's Anunoby.
But they need to look up. Tiff was talking about this earlier. They need to decide. They need to decide what they're gonna do. Because you know, I look at a team like the Clips. the Clippers, they've had a lot of years where
They need
it was,
to decide.
that decision was
Mhm.
decided for them with injuries to Kawhi and PG, but they
Mhm.
still made a move that was going to help them for the following years. They traded for Norman Powell. They traded for Covington. They got pieces. They reshuffled the deck. The Heat can do stuff like that. They need to, because this is going to be decided for them. You got 3 of your rotation guys as free agents. They haven't been performing well. You've got Vic, who's you got to decide right now. Hey, should we reshuffle the deck with him to a contender? See if we can get somebody on a long-term deal that can help us, or are we going to extend him? Because if you're not extending him, trade him. Look to trade him, because there's no reason to go into the playoffs with Vic if you're not a real contender. And
Who
that,
wants Vic?
I think a contender could use a backup guard who.
Okay, but we just talked about that. It's like, okay, like the Clippers, and like there's not really a deal that makes sense for Miami. Like
they have decent contracts. If you're not getting OG, Covington, and a pick,
and
I would
that
consider that.
those a pick from the Clippers?
Yeah.
No way.
If you can get Covington and a pick,
they don't have a pick.
I think they do.
No,
They've
they
got
all
Miami.
belong to the Thunder.
No, they've traded. They've gotten some good stuff back.
I don't, and I would not, if I'm the Clippers, I don't trade a real pick, a real like the last asset. If they have a pick, it's 1, and I would not trade 1 pick for Oladipo unless it's seconds. But at that point, like if you're Miami, like fuck.
But you need to get some of those assets back, because you can't. You got no assets.
I'd rather trade Max for the seconds than Oladipo.
Yeah.
I just think Oladipo. You need Oladipo more than Max.
Clippers have their 28th pick and 29th.
They're 20 what?
28th, 29th.
What do you mean the 20th?
The last pick the Clippers owe is the 26th, so they can't trade 27th.
Wait, 2026?
They can go 28, 29. They can start trading their picks.
Okay, so you can only trade one of those because you can't trade back to back.
Yeah, right.
So they only have 1 pick to trade, and I don't know if you're the Clippers. I save that for somebody better than Victor Oladipo.
They gotta save everything because they're gonna blow it up this summer anyway. So they need to save everything.
No, for real.
Tyler,
Not for real.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they should think about moving PG, but that's a different conversation. I think there's some.
I'd like to have that conversation in the offseason.
If to kind of bring it full
I
circle,
love him.
if I was Brooklyn, I would have called the Clippers and said Kyrie for PG swap, just like straight up.
I would have.
If you're who, the Clippers?
Yeah,
I would have called.
I would have called for my.
Those guys are never healthy.
No, I know, but they gave up a first and some rotation players for Kyrie. They could have. I think the Clippers could have had a decent package around.
I think the Dallas package was going to be pretty hard to beat unless you included Tyler, and I think we all agree.
No, I meant for the Clippers. But.
I think the Clippers could have put something together.
Whatever. Ballmer has
Between
money.
Morris, John Wall, whatever. If they have picks or not, like I feel like they have stuff. I don't know what they want with Terrence Mann. Like I feel like if they wanted to, they have things.
Chat just goes Kyle for Reggie Jackson, Marcus Morris, or Powell, and I'm like,
I don't even want Reggie Jackson.
I'm like, eh.
I thought I didn't, but every time I catch a Clippers game, I see.
Don't let him fool you. I've seen this. That's how it works.
Hey, Reggie Jackson's doing something. He's not Kyle.
He's doing.
Ooh.
That's true.
He can get to the paint. That's where I would find value in Reggie Jackson.
Would you do Kyle for like some kind of Kyle for Reggie plus wings from the
Reggie
Clippers?
and Covington.
Gotta get wings. You gotta get wings.
Would you prefer
Reggie
Powell?
Covington for like a month or two?
I don't think they trade Powell in that deal. I think you're crazy if they give up Powell for in that. So it's like
I'd take Marcus.
I take Marcus over Covington.
Yeah, I'd take Marcus over Covington.
So like Kyle for Reggie and Marcus. I don't even know if that works financially.
I think it does.
I don't know. How much
Marcus is pretty low.
No, low or high.
Low, like he's like 8 million, something like that.
And I don't think that works because you need Reggie's. Like I can't imagine Reggie.
Brooklyn is still making moves. Or trying to.
Everybody's making moves.
They're the team to watch.
Except us.
Yeah, I mean the Clippers. You have Jackson at 11. and you have Marcus at 16. So that gets you to 26, and now that gets you to a number. So yeah, Morris is at 16. So yeah, I mean Kennard.
16.
I mean,
Ooh, I
I
like Luke.
Why would we take Luke? He's often injured. Like, yeah,
Often injured, but when he's healthy, would we play him? We ain't playing Duncan. If I would play Luke,
but I'm saying he's not available that often, which is also a problem if we take him in. Like, that's the biggest problem is that he's not available that often. Oh, I like his game. But you know.
Yeah, chat's like Terrence Mann. They're not trading Terrence Mann to us.
They don't want. They like Terrence.
They don't want to move him at all.
Yeah, Lowe has been like they don't want to move him at all. So that's kind of where we are. I think we've all kind of come to the same kind of conclusions. I wanted to be more of a rah-rah show, but
rah-rah, come on.
I mean, there's always
G.
In my wild dreams, I wish this would happen. But it's over. It's over.
They winning.
They're winning. I love Harrison Barnes, but it's there. They can't get him. He's not for sale. But I love this man, and I've wanted to use this graphic in celebration for a long time. Chat's telling me to let it go. I know, man. I can let a man dream.
You gave us Kyle Lowry, and look at where we're
that was your dream.
Hey,
that was your dream.
Everyone's shitting on me. Last year was awesome.
Now we're paying for it.
Now we're paying for it.
This year's been bad. I'm shooting 500 from the field. You know. Well, let's see what next year holds. Okay. Last thing. Best guess. Do you think they move Lowry? Franky and Vaughn.
At the deadline, no.
No. Vaughn says no. Chip says no. Franky says no.
I mean,
I think this deadline's going to be extra disappointing.
It is,
and we're going to be fanning the flame. Like the Twitter's going to be a battlefield.
It's going to be real sad
when when the dust settles and Kyle's still here after the deadline.
It's going to be sad.
Miami's going to be on fire. Yeah, chat's already sending vomit emojis.
It's a burning building, and Twitter's going to be a burning building. Something's coming from the ashes, and it's going to be Kyle.
Twitter's gonna come to like
run it through
MHB.
He's like, no, he's walking. You know, he can't run
with pitchforks and fire. It's gonna.
Don't be mad at me. I try to tell y'all all year. Temper your expectations.
Told y'all. Franky said, "Get used to
some
shit."
Chat's down bad.
I tried to prep you guys early. This was gonna
hold up. Who is Ryan? What is it? Saporio?
Rivera.
Ryan. No, that ain't happening. Put it up, G.
Man's down bad. Wants Thad Young, Dedmon and Strus for Thad Young. Tiff.
Nope, ain't gonna be able to do it. Ain't gonna be able to do it.
Someone said, "Heat of the sports version of climate change."
They are.
What does that even mean?
They ruining the world. They ruining the world.
Ladies and gentlemen and others, we are.
The world ruined the world. They did it to themselves. Sure, there it is. Found it.
A little bit of an announcement. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., Brian Goins and I are going to be hosting Bleacher Report's Miami Heat trade deadline coverage. So catch us tomorrow, I believe, on the Bleacher Report app. We still don't. We've gotten very little details. We've just been told, "Hey, do you guys want to do this?" And we're like, "Yeah." They go, "Cool. This is where you show up tomorrow at 3." So Monday at 3 p.m. Check the Heat Beat account. We'll tweet it out. It'll be on some sort of Bleacher Report platform. We're going to be hosting their coverage for them tomorrow, and kind of leading up to the deadline. So it'll be a little tighter, and it won't be as nonsense. But we're gonna have fun. We're gonna make it Heat Beat.
So it won't be as fun.
We're gonna bring Heat Beat to the world, nationally and globally. So be on the lookout for that. Hangover Time next week is on Wednesday against the Indiana Pacers. So be here for that. That'll be a fun one. And yeah, so enjoy the deadline. We're gonna have deadline coverage on Thursday for you as well, wall to wall, all that good stuff.
If something crazy happens, if something crazy happens, we will be just popping on with a show. Let the people know if something.
I gotta let the Bleacher Report people know that I come with my family. They come.
Oh
with
no.
Bogdanovic.
I mean no. I mean after that, if something crazy happens, you will be popping
Oh no,
up.
yeah,
with
no,
a-
yeah. And we're gonna do our own stuff on our platform. Like that's a cool separate thing. But we're gonna bring you coverage throughout the week, and of course on Thursday, right at the deadline, we're gonna have all that good stuff for you.
I'm hacking the Heat Beat account. We doing a space maybe.
We're doing the
Don't-
space. We're gonna
don't
do
hold
stuff
me to
all week
that.
long. So be on the lookout for that. Love you guys. Thank you for spending this hour and a half with us. Hope we if you're listening on the pod feed or YouTube, hope we gave you something fun on a Monday. And we'll see you throughout the week. Peace.
Peace.